Today, caught on camera.
This is pretty dangerous.
After failing to yield, a driver in a black Toyota Tacoma leads CHP on a slow speed but dangerous pursuit. How many pit maneuvers will it take to bring this thing to an end? Then,
This is something you don't see. I don't think I've ever seen that.
No.
a suspect wanted for an alleged restraining order violation drives erratically through the San Gabriel Valley. The shocking end to this Thanksgiving Eve chase. And after traveling at speeds of 140 miles per hour, an armed suspect abandons his vehicle on the side of the road. But he's not done just yet.
And he's going to try again to get another vehicle there. He's hanging on.
When every second counts and every decision could be life or death, watch these incidents unfold from KTLA's Eye in the Sky. This is Caught on Camera. It's a quiet Thursday morning in May of 2021. Sky 5 is overhead as a black Toyota Tacoma, fresh off the northbound 110, is traversing surface streets not too far from the campus of USC.
Not necessarily driving too erratically, and maybe that's some good news here. In fact, you did see the guy just waving a moment ago. But again, not necessarily driving too fast. In fact, we heard it was a moving violation, something along the lines of he was driving a little bit too slow on the freeway when they tried to pull him over. So they tried to pull him over, failure to yield, and now he is refusing to stop at this point. So there you go.
3 CHP units follow behind the pursuit suspect, who isn't traveling quickly, but is beginning to drive more dangerously.
Look at that. Okay, he's just now coming up on a red light with cars stopped, so you can see that he is blowing through a red light right now and using the opposing lanes of traffic to do it here. So just now coming up on the 10 freeway, he will have the option at this point of getting on that 10 freeway east if he chooses. He's now coming up on another red light. He's got cross traffic ahead, and he's going to go blow right through that. And now he's again now under the 10 freeway, still moving northbound, not driving too fast, maybe 20 miles an hour or so. 3 units of the CHP kind of following close behind. They're not going to let him out of their sight. We also have a CHP airship that is following this guy from above. Okay, opposing lanes of traffic. He wants to make that left turn, and that is not going to be safe, but that's what he's going to do. So there you go. He has now made a left turn. He's westbound along the north side of the 10 freeway here. So don't know what this guy intends to do here. I mean, he certainly knows that he is being followed.
The procession, now with 4 CHP patrol vehicles in pursuit on the ground, and a CHP chopper up above, makes its way onto the freeway, this time the westbound 10.
Not too much in the way of traffic on that westbound 10, at least not for the next mile and a half. I do see a little bit of slowing up ahead, maybe at about Western, maybe Arlington, where he is going to have to slow down a little bit for traffic here. But it doesn't look like speed is necessarily his thing, right? I mean, it doesn't look like he's looking to go fast. He's just driving at a leisurely pace, at a pace certainly where the CHP can certainly keep up with him.
The Caravan inches down the side of the 10 freeway, passing multiple opportunities to merge onto the main lines of traffic. Less than 2 minutes after getting on the 10, the driver can see traffic is beginning to back up and takes the off-ramp at Arlington Avenue.
Okay, it looks like he's exiting the freeway over at Arlington. So we've just passed Western, over to Arlington, and he's just now going to be coming up to the top of the off-ramp here. Now, if he gets into the right-hand turn pocket, he's going to have an open lane with nothing else to contend with at that point. So he's going to be northbound, back on surface streets here, guys. You know, okay, so just based on what we're seeing here, no rhyme or reason. It doesn't look like he necessarily knows where he's going or is trying to get back to a place that he might be familiar with. He's just kind of meandering. You know, if the freeway tightens up, he'll get off the freeway and he'll ride the surface streets for a little bit. But there you go. We'll be coming up on Washington. That'll be the first main street that he comes up to here shortly. He does definitely have some cars up ahead. He's in the opposing lanes of traffic. That's a dangerous situation here.
The pursuit suspect blows through the intersection, initiating a series of dangerous maneuvers, driving on the wrong side of Arlington Avenue, and almost colliding with an oncoming car.
This is pretty dangerous. He's actually forcing other cars out of their lanes so that they can avoid this guy here.
The pursuit makes its way onto Venice Boulevard as a number of CHP vehicles, which first grew from 3 to 4, has jumped once again from 4 to 5. The boulevard mostly wide open, but the dangerous slow-speed behavior continues. The Toyota Tacoma navigating around stop traffic and running a red light at Crenshaw Boulevard. CHP stays tight on the driver's tail. Slight movements by the leading vehicle suggest they may be getting into position. But for what? That's right, it may be time for a pit maneuver.
We're just waiting for the opportunity here, guys. We're just waiting for the opportunity here. So pit maneuver might be in this guy's future, but, it looks like he's gone into a parking structure, so we might not be able to see much more than what we are seeing right now here.
As the pursuit moves into the parking structure at San Vicente and Venice, and the pit maneuver option is temporarily abandoned, now might be the perfect time for a refresher course, as Sky 5 reporter Gil Lavis explains what a pit maneuver is.
PIT is an acronym for the Pursuit Intervention Technique that law enforcement uses to stop a pursuit. It's used by many law enforcement, but not all law enforcement, and it basically is a way to spin the car out of control and disable it.
The driver and pursuing vehicles emerged from the parking structure, and the pursuit is back on as CHP officers again work to make the conditions safe for a pit.
You're seeing it right there, possibly getting into position to do it. He's just accelerated out of it. Okay, he's still in position to be able to do that, so, okay. Nope, not yet, but getting close. You can see them. There you go. Okay, a little bit of fishtailing.
A swing and a miss, but CHP isn't deterred. Time for pit maneuver attempt number 2.
They're just waiting for a safe opportunity to do it, and I think he's going to do that right here before he gets to the next intersection here. He was just coming up within a half a block of traffic that was stopped at a red light, and so I think the CHP saw that, recognized it, and aggressively kind of maneuvered into a position where he could get a good pit maneuver on this guy, and that's exactly what he did. So at this point, officers are going to be out with guns drawn, and they've got a pretty good view of what the situation is inside the cab of that Toyota Tacoma here. So no doubt they are likely ordering him to come out of the vehicle here.
A face-off begins on San Vicente Boulevard. After that successful pit maneuver, the hope is the suspect will come out peacefully, but it appears he has other ideas, as it quickly becomes clear that pit maneuver may not have been as successful as first thought.
Okay, all right, he's reversing out of there, and I guess the truck is not immobilized, and so he's just kind of reversing out. I'm about 1,400. And it's on again, potentially, unless they can get this guy pitted again. But, my goodness, yeah, have a look at this.
It's not over yet. Time for pit maneuver attempt number 3.
Another pit maneuver they tried. That one didn't take. Okay, he's coming up on a parked car, and so the CHP now kind of sort of semi-blocking him in. Can he drive out of it? I think he could if he wanted to. CHP coming out. Okay. 5's over on the south side, I've got you. And again, he drives out of it here. So this is a stubborn guy for whatever reason. He just doesn't want it. He doesn't want to stop.
The third time wasn't, but could fourth time be the charm? We quickly find out.
Now moving westbound again along San Vicente. Okay, thank you guys. I'm at 1,004. Oh my gosh, there you go. Wow. All right, you saw that. A pretty aggressive pit maneuver. Got this guy stopped once and for all. It spun the truck. And now he ended up on its, he's now on its roof. So, we hope the guy's okay, but we definitely want to see him come out of there and be taken into custody here. You can see the CHP officer there trying to break a window there to gain access to the truck. So I don't know what condition the guy is in. Oh, there you go. Okay, that's his condition. He just got pulled out pretty aggressively by the leg there. So a great job by the CHP, never giving up here. So yeah, they've got their man.
November 26, 2025. It's a morning before Thanksgiving. The streets of Alhambra are relatively calm, though that calm is threatened as South Pasadena police are now in pursuit.
And we don't know what the want is just yet, but this pursuit just began. Sky 5 first overhead of this pursuit is these speeds of over 60 miles an hour on surface streets here, southbound on Garfield. And again, we're still awaiting what this car is wanted for. It looks like he's crossed over the opposite lanes of traffic, now eastbound here on Emerson. They are waiting the helicopter, the Pasadena PD helicopter, to get overhead as well. We are the only helicopter that's overhead of this pursuit as we speak here.
Sky 5, the only helicopter of any kind now over this dangerous chase, as a red Toyota Prius races through alleyways and almost loses traction on a sharp turn. But SPPD isn't giving up the fight.
Pasadena PD picking up speed there. It looks like, it's hard to say. It looked like that might be a Tesla. I believe Pasadena PD actually uses Teslas for their squad cars, and easily able to keep up with this pursuit. And he just flew through a four-way stop there. And hard to say how many people are in this car. You can see the windows are darkly tinted. This pursuit beginning within the last 10 minutes or so. As soon as we heard it on the police scanners, we made our way over here.
The driver's actions behind the wheel posing a real threat to the public, as he does all he can to avoid capture.
This guy is just not willing to slow down or stop, just doing everything that this person can do to try and evade the black and white units directly behind, oftentimes driving on the wrong side of the road, going through red lights and going through four-way intersections without even stopping. And there's another red light that they just ran through, still in a residential area. It looks like passing a school. Fortunately, school is out for now due to the holidays. So fortunately, not as much foot traffic here. As you can see, it's just kind of blowing through those crosswalks here in a residential area. And looks like he's setting up here. Ooh, there's a pedestrian right there. Oh, man. And quickly getting out of the way for the Pasadena PD units that are trying to keep up with this red car here. And it's setting up for another turn, still in a residential area. And we're in the Rosemead area at this point, now making another sharp turn.
The dangerous driving continues. The Prius nearly loses control as it takes a wide turn on Dorothy Avenue, and then almost sideswipes an SUV as it merges onto the 10 freeway. Then, an update. Sky 5's Rich Prickett gets word we may have the want.
And while Rich gathers that information, we'll tell you that, again, this began 15 minutes or so ago. This person being chased by the South Pasadena Police Department. They've been quite erratic in the way they've been driving, running red lights, blowing through intersections, almost hitting pedestrians, narrowly missing other cars when they were on surface streets, and now transitioning onto the 10 freeway going eastbound.
It's incredibly dangerous. We're seeing pretty high rates of speed here on the 10. It looks relatively wide open for this time of the morning, 10 eastbound, I believe. We're headed Rosemead area. This was in Alhambra moments ago. Just entered the freeway a few minutes ago as well. But Rich is overhead. You said CHP likely to start to follow this car as well once he entered the freeway, Rich.
Yes, we did. So I'm hearing now just via radio traffic that this person is wanted for a possible restraining order violation. They also said a 459, which is generally some sort of a burglary attempt. And Pasadena PD, the units we saw directly behind, have backed off. They've gone into what they call surveillance mode. So they're just going to keep track of this car via the helicopter that's up above. And they are negotiating whether or not to see if CHP wants to engage in this pursuit or not. We don't see CHP involved in the pursuit at this time. It's just a helicopter, a Pasadena PD that's keeping track of this car. And we are now exiting the freeway here, and we are going to be on Baldwin. So we're in the El Monte area at this point as this car is curving around and making its way back under the freeway and should come back out here in just a second. There it is. So we are on Baldwin Avenue in the El Monte area. This car is still driving erratic, even though there are no patrol cars directly behind.
The erratic driving continues as a pursuit suspect pushes 60 miles per hour. Thankfully, traffic on Valley Boulevard is light on this Thanksgiving Eve. The proceeding makes its way back onto residential streets. The car passing an unsuspecting resident just taking out the trash and almost losing control again on a wild turn.
Rich, again, for those of us not familiar with this tactic, when a police agency like this kind of pulls back and takes their patrol cars off the pursuit, but lets the helicopter follow. What is the strategy there? Why do they do that?
So if you have someone that's driving erratic and putting the public at danger, then they could opt to go into a surveillance mode if they know who the driver is, and there's a good chance they can catch up with them later on. They could opt to go into surveillance mode, or there are times where somebody in the vehicle is in contact with law enforcement and basically willing to surrender on their own terms, then they may go into surveillance mode as well. Whether or not any of that is the reason why South Pasadena went into surveillance mode is hard to say, but I can tell you that this person was certainly driving very erratic, and the fact that they mentioned a possible restraining order violation leads me to believe that they have a pretty good idea as to who this person is.
For now, the suspect is still driving above the speed limit, essentially in a circle on these El Monte streets.
Hard to say if this person knows exactly where he is or just trying to keep the car going. But right now, just the law enforcement helicopter that's keeping tabs on this red car.
Yeah, and Rich, as you were saying, a lot of times when they're being followed by patrol units, all of us watching at times feel frustrated. Why can't you stop this guy? Why would you pull back from engaging with this person? But he was incredibly reckless. We believe it's a man behind the wheel when driving through the neighborhoods, going faster and faster, blowing through stop signs, blowing through red lights. And I think you're right. Authorities sometimes believe it's just the risk to the public outweighs them following this person any further. And like you said, the helicopter's overhead. Pretty sure this guy's aware of that. And they most likely do know who the person is behind the wheel, just hoping that he stops at some point and doesn't hurt the public.
On Daleview Avenue, something strange happens. Despite there being no dead end, the driver stops, makes a three-point turn under a line of trees, and turns around. It's the first sign that he may actually have an agenda or possibly a destination in the back of his mind. All this, as radio chatter suggests, El Monte PD have been notified that the pursuit is in the area, and they're now keeping tabs. Back on Valley Boulevard, the driver who's been spotted talking on his cell phone makes another U-turn. Then, mere seconds later, he makes yet another.
And another U-turn there. Kind of just
going around in a circle, just constantly changing direction,
he certainly is.
Going back where they came from each time. Now, with the hand up, you can see the driver with putting the hand out the window. Exactly what they were doing, I'm not sure. But you're right, both windows
for the red light
are open.
Here. All right, so coming to a stop here, that's something we haven't seen before. He usually was just going right through the intersections, whether it was red or green. But he has stopped. We did see that cell phone in his hand a little earlier, and there it is. He's texting or making phone calls one way or another, trying to reach out to somebody. Maybe he's trying to figure out where he's going to go.
The red light turns green, and the red Prius heads off again. But this time, he's not fleeing police. He's not driving away from something. He's driving with the flow of traffic towards something. And after one last U-turn, we find out towards what.
And now it looks like he's parking.
Yeah.
Parking his car there on Valley Boulevard near Johnson.
Okay,
and getting out.
Out.
He's got something
so
in
walking
his hand.
away, right on the sidewalk. Looks like he's got a backpack there. Looks like the Civic Center complex here in El Monte. Not really sure if the Civic Center Plaza would be open today, but basically just casually walked into the building here. I believe that might just be City Hall, or it looks like a police station.
Yeah, that is a police station.
Here, so it might have just
maybe he's decided to surrender.
This person
Turn himself in.
Yeah,
that's something you don't usually
I think
see.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We talked about that earlier, where the person could be in contact with law enforcement in one fashion or another, maybe contacting a family member who also was talking with law enforcement, and he says, you know what, I'm just going to drive to the police station, and so they backed off, and you can see now law enforcement, we'll find out exactly which police department that is, now making their way towards the lobby here where that person literally just parked and walked inside. So
The driver's taken into custody inside that El Monte police station before being transferred to the care of South Pasadena PD. His alleged restraining order violation and his surrender aren't recorded, but the wild pursuit in between, that's caught on camera.
This is something you don't see. I don't think
No.
I've ever seen, actually.
No.
Pursuit ends peacefully with the suspect driving to a police station and going inside and turning himself in.
In our last segment, a suspect accused of violating a restraining order led police on a chase through the San Gabriel Valley. The ordeal unfolding on the day before Thanksgiving. Well, there must be something in the holiday turkey, because just days after Thanksgiving 2022, Sky 5 found itself over yet another wild pursuit, this time of an armed suspect.
The speeds on this pursuit have been outrageous, 140 miles an hour plus. That's that white vehicle in the center of your screen. We've been having a hard time trying to catch it, and it looks like it's exiting the freeway here. This is the 60 freeway exiting in the Ontario area. He's got to go right by that car. He's going to be hard on the brakes here as he reaches that intersection. He's going to make a hard turn there, right turn southbound here. He's made a right turn off the freeway. So here we go, southbound off the freeway. Now he's going to go back towards us here and into a parking lot. Might be bailing out here, but this all started in downtown LA. A man with a gun call, LAPD Central Division, went into pursuit of that driver, and he hit the gas the entire time, was at a high rate of speed. Here he's bailing out, and he's going to, well, he maybe tried to carjack that vehicle here, but he's going to continue running, and he's going to go across the lanes here. This is going to be Archibald, and he's going to try again to get another vehicle there. He's hanging on. Oh, scary situation here as a man with a gun is running from the LAPD, but now the CHP has been in pursuit. They took it over.
The armed suspect is on foot, desperate to get away as the police airship tracks his every move. He's abandoned his car and attempted to carjack 2 others, and he's not done yet.
Desperate to get away, carjacking 3 cars now. That's the 3rd one that he's attempted to carjack. He is armed. This is such a dangerous situation here right off the freeway, and there come the cops. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, they get here just in time. This individual was moments away from wreaking havoc on somebody and their vehicle. I mean, he was desperate. We saw him try at least 3 vehicles to get in. CHP swarming the suspect, clearly in custody now. But wow, Gil, that was moments away from sheer terror for somebody.
Oh, no doubt. I was biting my nails up here every time he approached those cars, especially the one he got a hold of there. Fortunately, those people are aware of their environment, were able to drive away and be free of this guy. But yeah, thankfully the CHP pulling up just in time, taking him down hard on the sidewalk here at Archibald and Oak Hill Drive. But again, this pursuit, it actually started in downtown LA on surface streets, jumped on the 10 freeway westbound, went all the way to La Brea, exited and got back on the 10 eastbound, made its way into the East LA interchange, jumped on the 60 freeway, and it made its way all the way out here to Ontario, where you saw it coming to an end. But again, we had a really hard time catching it because the speeds were in excess of 140 miles an hour.
The armed suspect is cuffed and in custody, but he continues to resist, at least momentarily. Though he really doesn't stand a chance against the more than 11 uniformed officers nearby. Eventually, the suspect who led officers on a wild pursuit concedes defeat.
There you see him now looking to cooperate a little better. He doesn't have a choice, does he?